Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shalini Singh. I'm the Chief of Communications, Chief of Sustainability, Chief of CSR and Skill Development Centers for Tata Power. I'm here to speak on the idea of sustainability. Sustainability as a subject is very close to my heart. I'm very passionate about it. And as we all have seen, that the corona pandemic has sounded the bell, rang the bell, in fact, on combating climate change by rooting for sustainability. While a few countries have been initiating discussions on sustainability, it is not consistently practiced. Sustainable development is not just about environment or environment protection, but it encompasses three important areas of uh, environment, social, and governance that needs to be taken care of when we look at sustainability overall. Now, what does sustainability mean for a communication professional or for communication fraternity? It means building brand with a purpose. I would use this as an example to tell you how we all can start, even now, in our own little way. Tata Power's journey on sustainability started close to 12 years ago with a program called Tata Power Club Energy, which started educating school children on saving, on the importance of conservation and saving of electricity. This program started in order to combat climate change because 70% of this country's electricity comes from fossil fuel based plants, fossil fuel based thermal power plants. And therefore, it was important that we don't waste electricity, despite being a low consumption country. The fact that we produce electricity through thermal, it's important that we realize what kind of impact it has on the climate. This club has been running, started its journey with 12 schools, and today is in 533 schools across the country, almost close to 9 to 10 cities, which are metro, uh, and has been a very successful program. We believe that this program was the beginning of our sustainability journey. Apart from the business sustainability part that we always took care of, like in the environment and others, but this was beyond business. We taught these children the importance of not consuming our product or consuming less of our product and not wasting it because of its environmental implications. It's now become a movement. Club Energy won the Edison Award for social change. This year it was a very proud moment for us uh, because as a country, while India is seen as a developing nation, but it's or an emerging economy, it's very heartening to see that one of the most powerful initiatives on creating human chain for combating climate change came from our country. Sustainability is not new to India. In fact, our ancestors have lived in harmony with nature for many, many centuries. Therefore, I believe that sustainability to an Indian organization it can be a very natural transit. And I want to touch upon what we can do now. So, Tata Power is aligned to the United Nations sustainability goals. We've, we've picked and chosen out of the 17 goals, 10 goals which are important to us, out of which 4 are business sustainability goals and 6 are CSR related sustainability goals. So the positive impact that we want to make on the environment and positive impact that we want to make on community. We have built properties around it, and these are call to action properties to help our stakeholders. Stakeholders also includes customers and employees get involved and make a difference. Club Energy, I just mentioned, is one of those programs. Another one is Act for Mahasir. Mahasir is a fish and it's a biodiversity which was endangered that we have saved. And every year we run this program to call people, to pledge to save Mahasir by in their neighboring areas, and also to reduce water pollution because Mahasir is very very sensitive to water pollution. If a lake is polluted, it will not survive, and therefore we've created this big movement around it, which gives us a lot of joy every year when we, in our own little way, try to make a difference on this biodiversity conservation. The third important thing that we do is, to our customers, we run this program called Be Green, which is basically helping them to conserve energy and giving them green tips like e-billing instead of accepting bill by post, planting a tree on our important days with us, the afforestation drive, and many other such conservation tips that we have for them. And for Tata Power, as you must have realized, the word sustainability goes beyond climate change and comprises all aspects of environment, social, and governance system. The financial parameter, of course, stays. And when it comes to decarbonization of Tata Power's journey, it's a journey that is going on for almost close to 4 or 5 decades in various ways. In fact, Tata Power was born almost a century ago through a hydro power plant, and the dream of our founder was to actually provide clean source of power to Mumbai, which was choking on the various generators and other oil burning mechanisms which were being used by the textile factories. So therefore, we believe that it's in our DNA to be clean and green and to provide clean power, to educate the consumers to be responsible in the usage of power, to reduce carbon footprint. And any organization, in our view, can do this. An organization can start by measuring its own carbon footprint. An organization can encourage its employees to save energy, to carpool, to reduce use of plastic, to also buy equipments which are 5-star rated equipments. And if I have to give you very quickly 4 steps to make any company carbon neutral, and this applies to almost most of the companies, is number 1, measure. Anything that you measure, you will not waste. So first, a company needs to measure its total greenhouse gas emissions. And for a company that does not make physical products, such as a branding studio or a law firm, the largest part of its carbon footprint might be from the energy consumption. So see how your or travel, for that matter, your employees travel. So see how you can reduce, your energy conservation, your energy bills in the office. How you can plan travel more responsibly. COVID has taught us how we can use technology instead of traveling, for one meeting, so many thousand miles away. Also, for a company that manufactures products, most emissions are likely to be so-called scope 3 emissions outside the company's direct control, including emissions from its supply chain and from customers using its product. Now, that is very, very important. So you can always, if you are responsible, you think that you have completed your journey, you should then look at your supply chain and you should get your vendors and partners to be green too. The second step after measuring is cut emissions. Now, after a company identifies hotspots in its carbon footprint, it can take steps to shrink those emissions. And there are many, many examples of companies which are doing quite a lot in their space to reduce their emissions. So companies that sell services rather than products might focus on switching their offices to renewable energy instead of continuing on the same. So they can put up solar panels. They can put up Dell in Bangalore has had their building is entirely run on solar panels. It's amazing, and they've done it. It's happened very aesthetically. Tata Power has done it beautifully. They are doing it. If you know, the CCI Stadium is world's largest stadium, solar powered stadium, world's largest solar powered stadium in the today, and that is largely because of the vision of CCI club owners who have been able to understand the value of green power. Similarly, if you have cut your emissions, then what would be the next step? Then the next step would be to buy offsets. And what we mean by offsets is anything which helps you to cover the emissions that cannot be easily eliminated. So, for example, Peak Design, one of the companies, it chooses to fund projects that cover landfills to prevent methane, a very potent greenhouse gas, from escaping from rotting food. So what they're doing is they're trying to, cut down or buy offsets for their, waste or other areas, so that some of these carbon offsets can be, though they can be harder to track in some cases, but that they are going to work, because there are projects which are designed to, for example, take care of deforestation. So if you have produced carbon in one of your offices, you can offset it by a very simple way, by planting trees around it, because it's a great carbon sink, by doing plantation drives somewhere else where you create cover for other companies. So offsetting your carbon or your emissions is also a very important and responsible step for a company who are going to go in the journey of sustainability. And last but not the least, label and communicate. So while you're doing all of this, I talked about 4 properties that Tata Power has created in sustainability: cause branding, purposeful branding, whatever you call it. Similarly, all the companies who are doing this then have to bring this into communication, which is the job of most of the communication officers. So how do you label and communicate? So there is a term now which we called as, and I've talked quite a lot about climate change, largely because I'm a sustainability officer also. So it's my area of interest. But climate neutral, certified label, you will see in many companies abroad. Uh, it's there on products, it's there on packaging, it's there on their websites. And it is important that you create this kind of awareness if you're a product company. So if you are using only recycled paper, make sure that you have a recycle label on top of your products. For example, a lot of companies which are a lot of equipment makers like ACs and others have started using B-rated, 5-star rated labels on their products, which shows that they are far more energy efficient than their counterparts. So many of these labels have to be there as part of your communication. You can then move a step ahead and build your brand story on the responsible, responsible citizen behavior that you are showing. And all this together can then be converted into movements. So if you're a company which is passionate about, for instance, women empowerment, which is also a sustainability goal 5, empowerment of women, then you can run a program on a girl child, supporting a girl child. If you are passionate about afforestation, then you can uh, run a program around afforestation, which is more of a property. So property means that it will that you will it will not be a one-time thing, but you will be doing this for many times and involving more and more of your stakeholders. Similarly, I find one thing which is very useful in coastal areas is beach cleaning, and how you can all purposefully bring in all kinds of stakeholders to help clean in cleaning or in beach cleaning. And this also links up to the national Swachhta mission, and therefore in many ways you also contribute to some of the national movements that currently are running. So that's why I wanted to leave you all with this thought that sustainability today for an organization is not a choice. It's not an option. It's a very critical aspect of survival. It's a very critical aspect of what kind of future we leave behind for our children. The new generation, the millennials and Gen Zs, are already complaining about what kind of world we will leave behind for them. And as we read from the various uh, disasters which are happening around the world, the recent forest fires in the Napa Valley, and many other of those patterns that we see, uh, I would request more and more companies to think about purpose-led branding. Think about how, in doing our own business, we can make a difference. We can make a difference to not just conserve the environment, but also socially uplift, some of our communities, and yet continue to make a positive impact on our bottom line too. So be responsible, stay safe, and also conserve the planet. That's the need of the hour. Thank you.